Okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Virginia City Council meeting, the regularly scheduled council meeting. And I apologize for running it late, but we had a previous meeting that that went a little bit over, so we thank you for your patience and hope you're still listening at home. We'll call this meeting to order. Today's date is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. Call the meeting to order at 5:52 p.m. Pam, would you please take the roll call?
Baraboo,
Present.
Friedlieb,
Present.
Paulson,
Present.
Beyondich,
Present.
Johnson,
Here.
Baranzelli,
Here.
Huffy.
Present. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pam, do you have a copy of the 3.1? I can't get into my computer. I'm blocked out. Thank you. I apologize. Okay, we'll move to three. Thank you, Councilor Beyondich. We'll move to 3.1, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And this is a proclamation that we've been asked to do, and we do this every year. And it's unfortunate that we have to do this because of the seriousness of this issue that plagues throughout this country. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month is intended to bring awareness to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and is a public concern for individuals, families, community members, and communities as a whole. Whereas child sexual abuse and exploitation, rape, and sexual harassment impact all communities as seen by the national statistics. 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually violated by the age of 18. 1 in 5 children is solicited sexually while on the internet. 1/3 of all sexual violence cases in northern St. Louis County happen to children 17 years age and younger. Whereas in fiscal year 2020, our local sexual assault program of northern St. Louis County has worked with 458 primary and secondary crime victims of sexual violence whom reside in our communities. The program has provided more than 18,000 documented trauma and victim-focused advocacy services with these crime victims. Whereas annually more than 4,000 community members ages preschool through college-aged and area professionals are provided awareness and prevention education through the program. Whereas staff, board members, and volunteers of our local anti-sexual violence program, the Sexual Assault Program of Northern St. Louis County encourages every person to speak out when witnessing acts of violence, however small, and to help survivors connect with community allies. Whereas we must work together to educate and engage the communities in sexual violence awareness and prevention, and to believe and to listen and support its victims and family members. Whereas a growing number of Minnesota leaders are committed to sexual violence prevention, and whereas all Minnesotans must be part of the solution to eliminate crimes of sexual violence. Therefore, I, Mayor Larry Cuffey, Jr. of the City of Virginia, and all the elected body of this City Council do hereby proclaim the month of April in the year of 2021 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Okay, we'll move on to item 4, the public forum. We don't have anybody to speak before the public forum, but we do have our library director sitting in the back, Jody Grabinowski, our library director, has an update for us regarding the library and some good news for the public of new hours of operation being open. Jody, welcome to the City Council meeting.
Thank you.
Yes, I have some exciting news. So the library is fully open. We are open Monday through Thursday, 10 to 6, Friday, 10 to 5. Saturday, we are still keeping express services from 10:30 to 1:30. This is for people who want to just come in quick, get their stuff, who don't want to spend a lot of time in the library. So we just kept that on Saturday so people can do that. The other news is the book sale is next week in Miners. It is in the arena. Thank you, Brian. He set up tables. They are starting to set up. It is going to take them probably all weekend and into next week to get it set up. It is Wednesday next week, not this week, Wednesday the 21st, 10 to 5, Thursday 10 to 6, Friday 10 to 5, and Saturday 10 to 3. If you have items to donate, they are accepting donations tomorrow from 10 to 2 and on Thursday from 10 to 2. And that's also right in front of Miners. They will help you unload your car. They've got carts, they've got, and they'll just bring everything in for you. So those are the exciting updates from the library right now.
Well, thank you, Jody. And for those of you who are listening at home, and for those of you, us, is there a telephone number that they can call to refresh their memory regarding the hours of operation?
Yes, and you're going to ask me, and I should know this by heart, and I don't. So 218-748-7525.
748-7525.
And we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, our webpage is up to date, and soon the electronic sign will be up to date, as long as I don't crash it in the process of updating it.
So the library is everywhere.
We are.
Very good. Thank you very much, Jody.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Jody moving forward?
All right, thank you very much.
Look forward to coming in person.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. Okay, well, you move to item 5, which is the consent agenda. The following items will be enacted by one motion unless a counselor or a citizen of the City of Virginia requests that one of these items be considered separately. Item 5.1 is the approval and correction of the minutes of the regular meeting that was held on March 23rd, 2021, and the special meeting held April 1st and April 7th, and the public hearing held on April 6th, 2021. Item 5.2 is the adoption of Finance Resolution Number 21-007, the schedule of bills. Item 5.3, approve pay estimate number 10 to Kraus Anderson for the Ewens Field redevelopment in the amount of $2,793.26. Item 5.4, approve pay estimate number 10 to Kraus Anderson for the MEC in the amount of $2,006,691.05. And 5.5, approve pay estimate number 3 to George Bugalis and Sons for the Bailey's Lake Trail improvement in the amount of $25,066.94. And finally, item 5.6, approve the travel request for Chief Alan Lewis of the Fire Department to attend the Leverum Data Technology Code 3 Strategist Seminar, April 23rd through the 29th, 2021, to be held in Corvallis, Oregon, and there's no cost to the city.
I'll move the consent agenda.
Councilor Paulson moves to approve the consent agenda. Is there support? Support by Councilor Freely. Further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Move to item 6, appearances. We have no one scheduled to speak before the council this evening. Is there anybody on the line that's requested to speak? We see none, so we'll move to item 7, unfinished business. Unfortunately for us at City Council here, we've already done all our business that we need to do. So we have no unfinished business. Move to item 8, discussion items. Under Planning and Zoning, item 8.1. Consider the following variance request from Steve Begich at 1502 North 7th Avenue. 8.1A, approve an 84 square foot variance to the maximum rear yard coverage percentage of 30%, 540 square feet, in order to allow coverage of a yard by 624 square feet. Item 81A2 is approve a 6-foot variance to the required 20-foot setback in order to build an accessory structure, a detached garage, 14 feet from the 7th Avenue West right-of-way. And we have in your packet, you received some information about a resident who had some concerns about this variance. Planning and zoning has vetted the variance, has approved the variance for approval at this council meeting. But I would ask for some clarification. I see our planning and zoning, I call him the director, so he is the director of planning and zoning. So John Sullivan. John, could you give us a little update on that? And I think we have the individual that's building a garage in the audience, Mr. Begich, as well. Mr. Sullivan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. On April 5th, we did have a public hearing in regard to this project. It was a variance request from a garage. Just for the record, we did provide public notice, and I did have some people inquire and ask about the project because we send out notice to all the residents and neighbors within 350 feet. I answered questions. The one neighbor to the north, Britt, could you zoom out just a little bit? Or is it locking up on you? It's been persnickety today, trust me. The neighbor to the north that submitted the comments did come meet with me before the actual public hearing, not the day of, but a few days before, and expressed some concerns, and I talked about that a little bit. Just for the record, Mr. Begich, who is, as the mayor indicated, is here, he originally had wanted to do a 30 by 24 garage, which was 720 square feet or 180 square feet above. He subsequently, during the process, reduced his square footage almost 100 square feet for the variance. And he also did a setback off of 7th Avenue West where he was going to be 10 feet, where the setback is 20 feet. He moved it back so it was only a 6-foot variance. So, and he's lining up his rear garage with the existing garage. I don't have a pointer with me, but his property is 1502 North 7th Avenue. If you're right where Britt's showing the arrow there, instead of off to the right by the sidewalk, he moved it back to line up with the existing garage. And so he did make that for sightline, some of the concerns that the neighbor had about sightline. So we went over it as a planning commission, took comments from everybody, and it did pass unanimously. That was the recommendation. But we did consider the neighbors' concerns to the north. We just didn't see anything that would preclude Mr. Begich from not building this. And again, he did make some adjustments to his building plan. If anybody has any other questions about this in particular, let me know. Otherwise, I could turn it back to the mayor and he could ask the applicant to address any concerns. About the actual building, I could get into that too.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Does any councilor have a question for Mr. Sullivan at this point in time? We do not. Thank you, John. Mr. Begich, I know that you've come here in person and you'd like to speak before the council of this matter. So welcome to the City Council, Mr. Begich. And as a formality, would you please state your name for the record?
My name is Stephen Begich, and I'm actually just moved back to the Queen City at the end of January, and quite excited to come home finally.
Welcome home, yes. Thank you.
I tried to address all the concerns of the neighbor. My wife and I want to be good neighbors and citizens and give something back to the city to while we're living here. So we had some concerns about a fire hydrant, vehicle fumes, blocking the view of our neighbor. She was concerned that if we built a garage that we'd have a lot of junk piling up on there. And she is concerned that we would be driving on her property to park our car in the garage. So what we did was we created a smaller footprint in our yard. Instead of the 5-foot setback from the alley, we're moving it to at least 7 feet, and we cut, again, the 4 feet off. So we think that the footprint is smaller. I know she had a concern that we'd steer onto her lawn. I called the persons, the brothers who own the house that we purchased from, the Matsons, and I know they had parked in the spot where our garage is being built, and they both have full-size pickups, quite larger than my SUV that I have. I asked them if they ever crossed over and, to make that big turn with a big pickup onto the neighbor's lawn, and they said, no way, absolutely no way. So I'm comfortable with what we've designed for this. I had one concern that I wanted to bring up with the council. That was a letter that you received from Ms. Sandus the other day. And she had made a statement that nobody will side with her because myself, I am a higher-up citizen. And I was quite disturbed by that because I think the council will agree that they treat all citizens in Virginia the same. Nobody's getting special treatment, and I have no special standing here, other than I'm just coming home. So I just wanted that on record so that I think everybody here, if they would, say that I'm not getting any special treatment, I just don't want that going out because it's the integrity of the council and the city. And that's, what we all stand for. So that's about all I have.
Well, thank you very much, Mr.
Any
Begich.
questions?
Yeah, do we have any questions for Mr. Begich? Counselor Johnson?
I have one question, both on Google Earth and on the view here. There's a plastic-type shed there.
Yes.
Is that going to be going away, or is that on her property?
No, that's on our property. It's right on the edge. I talked with the next door neighbor person there. We're going to remove a couple of trees there. We're probably going to shift that closer to the house. It's a pretty lightweight plastic shed, but I don't know, you just never get enough storage, I guess.
Right. And then point of order, do we need to take these independently, or can we take them all as one?
They're related to both. We may, just to clarify, we can't take it at one. We may take it at one motion, Counselor Johnson.
I
Thank you.
will move points. Oh, I lost my sheet here. The 2 points relevant to Mr. Begich.
Okay, Counselor Johnson moves to approve the planning and zoning recommendations on item 8.1A regarding the items 1 and 2 that was read earlier. Is there any further, is there support for that first?
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Beyondich. Further discussion? Counselor Beyondich.
Thank you. And thank you for taking the time to reach out to the previous owners for discussion and trying to do what you can. If it met all the requirements.
Well, we
planning
just
and
want to follow
zoning.
the rules and do everything legally, and so we have no problems, and I have no problems with our neighbor. I hope we'll be able to, visit and be neighborly.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Counselor Beyondich. Counselor Bearable? Counselor Freely?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for making the adjustments that, at least to some degree, made an effort to appease her concerns, and I think that that's what has been done by the Planning and Zoning Committee, and I'm comfortable with this variance being provided.
And thank you. And just quickly, before we vote, to address your issue about being the higher-up citizen, that's why we have a Planning and Zoning Commission made up of citizens. That's why we have a buffer between the elected officials, and so where everything's transparent. That's why we hold a public hearing. There is no special treatment given to anybody. Everybody's treated fairly and equitably, and we base our decisions on following the law and the investigation done by our Planning and Zoning Commission, our planning director, and our city staff. So thank you for that comment, Mr. Begich, and welcome home once again.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
everyone.
you. So it's been moved and supported to approve the Planning and Zoning's recommendation. Is there any further discussion? John, any further discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, Motion carries. Thank you. Number 8.1B1, consider the following variance request from Rock Ridge Schools located at 411 Fifth Avenue South. B1 is approve an 11.2-foot variance to the required 20-foot setback in order to construct a new building 8.8 feet from the north property line, which is 2nd Street South. John?
Thank you, Mayor. This was brought up at a previous meeting in March, and then it was tabled because we needed more information from the public utilities to find out more about the steam line that actually serves the area. And that was worked out between the school's architect and engineer and the Virginia Public Utilities. They wrote a letter supporting this and directing the Planning Commission to approve. So it was unanimous approval and review by the Planning Commission.
Thank you, John. Counselor Johnson?
John, I'm just trying to visualize, does this mean it'll be 8 feet back from the sidewalk or 8 back from the curb? Like, I'm trying to visualize what this looks like over there.
I have a drawing. I'm not exactly,
Property line's not always the sidewalk. It's quite behind it, actually.
right, it's not the, I'm trying to see if
I guess maybe a better question is, the building's not going to be right against the street. It's going to still be back far enough to look appropriate and allow for it not to be a corridor as opposed to a,
correct.
okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Johnson. Looking for a motion? Do we have one?
Make a motion to approve the variance for the school setback.
A motion by Counselor Freelieb to approve. Is there support? Support by Counselor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor. Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Item 8.2, bids for commodities for the Public Works Department for year beginning May 1st, 2021. I guess we take these separately, huh? Item 8.2A, adopt the resolution approving the quote from Compass Minerals for 500 tons of crushed rock salt in the amount of $89.50 per ton.
I'll move the resolution.
Councilor Johnson moves to approve the resolution and supported by Councilor Freelieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.2B, adopt the resolution approving the quote from Northwest Asphalt Maintenance, asphaltic concrete surface maintenance services for 20,000 square feet at $1 per square foot.
They're commonly known as crack sealing. So in the layman's terms.
I was just going to say, is that where we went entering with the Carney for the crack ceiling repairs? Is it collaborative?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's good to know.
Yes, commonly seen around town when you have the crack sealing done, you'll see
Okay.
the white paper on top of it.
For all us laypersons, it's a crack ceiling repair. Okay, thank you. Well, looking for a motion.
I'll move the resolution.
Moved by Councilor Johnson to approve the resolution. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Baraboo.
Did we cut back, Britt, on our crack ceiling? I thought it used to be 50,000 square feet. Unless I'm wrong. Sherry, you got your light up. Go ahead. Tell me.
Sherry Erickson, our Finance Director, HR. Do you have an answer for Councilor Baraboo?
No, but I will get you one.
Okay, can we do this contingent upon it being the right amount? Approval of this? I thought we were doing 50,000. You got an answer for me?
I'm looking around the room. Pam?
Thank you, Mayor.
Sorry,
Yes,
Mary.
Counselor Baraboo, since I've been here, it's been up to 20,000.
Oh, okay, then I'm wrong. Okay, maybe it was that long time ago. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, Pam. It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.3, the League of Minnesota Cities visit on Wednesday, April 21st, 2021, with the cities of Mountain, Iron, and Virginia. Do you have any more information on that, Britt?
In your packet is the email we received from the League of Minnesota Cities. Their Executive Director, Dave Unmock, and the Mayor of Minnetonka, who is the president of the League Board, is coming to meet in small groups. So they ask if one of the council members and potentially the mayor or two council members, however it works out, would be available to meet with them on, I believe it's Wednesday, the 21st at 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
Sure, thank you. We don't need a motion for that, do we?
I need to know who's going to attend.
I see. Okay, well, do we have any volunteers? If not, I will be happy to attend, but if we have two other councilors who'd like to attend as well, welcome to do so. Councilor Friedlieb?
It's my birthday that day, but that would be a gift to me to be able to go meet with the LMC people.
Well, and then after that, because it's your birthday, I'll buy you breakfast. Okay, so Councilor Friedlieb would be happy to sit. Is there any other councilor that would have some time? I know that there's some time constraints for many of you on the council during that period of time. So if it's amenable to the council, Councilor Friedlieb and I will meet. Is that acceptable to everyone? Okay, so we need a motion for that? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, we'll move to item 9, committee reports. The committee of the whole meeting that was held on April 6th, 2021. And I just want to note as we move down the list, just a correction on item N, 9.1N, when we get to that, it should say 224 Chestnut Street, not 225 Chestnut Street, and that was caught by our City Clerk Pamela Bean. So we'll turn the committee of the whole report over to our City Administrator, Britt C. Bennis. Britt?
Thank you. At the Committee of the Whole meeting on April 6th, Betsy Olavanti from Revive Virginia, who is also part of the First Thursday Quad City Block Party, had a request to block off the 400 block of Chestnut Street on May 6, 2021, and the parking spots in front of the Lyric Center on the 500 block of Chestnut Street to conduct the block party for the first art crawl, or called First Thursdays Quad Cities, which will be held downtown, and the group would like to have the kickoff event from 4 to 7 p.m. It was moved and supported to authorize blocking off the 400 block of Chestnut Street and those parking spots in front of the Lyric from 4 to 7 on May 6th, and to authorize city staff to work with the barricades.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Johnson. Is there support?
I'll support for discussion, Mayor.
Support by Councilor Paulson for discussion. Further discussion, Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just received I'm on the Revive email mailing list, and I received an email stating that the Virginia City Council approved the street parking closure for the 400 and 500 blocks for May. And what's in the packet is the 400 block, and I think that was the ask. Do they want the 500 block closed as well, Brett?
No, just the parking spots in front of the Lyric. They're going to do a small children's area, just in those few parking spots. in
Okay,
front of the
and
Lyric.
we don't need any council action for that.
It's part of this motion, the 400 block of Chestnut and the parking spots in front of the Lyric and the 500 block of Chestnut.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Paulson. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We had a resident from the 400 block of 10th Street South again to discuss parking in the neighborhood. It was moved and supported to receive and file the letter received from the resident at the 400 block of 10th Street South.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Johnson, supported by Councilor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Paul Steinman from Baker Tilly and George Eilertson from Northland Securities presented information regarding the pre-sale summary report for the sale of the bonds for the 2021 street improvement project. It was moved and supported to move forward to this meeting, the resolution for the parameters resolution regarding the issuance of general obligation bond series 2021A for the 2021 Street Improvement Project Phase 1.
Thank you. Counselor Bearable?
Also move the resolution on the 2021 obligation bond criteria.
Moved by Counselor Bearable. Is there support?
I'll support the expedited parameters.
Supported by Counselor Freely. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Brian Silbera, Park and Recreation Director, presented information regarding the facilities use agreement between the City of Virginia and Mesabi Range College for the use of Stock Field for the spring 2021 baseball softball season. It was moved and supported to approve that agreement between the city and the college for the use of the Stock Field for this season, spring of 2021.
Thank you.
We'll move.
Counselor Freely moves to approve. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to authorize donating three shelving units from the police department to RAD, or Recovery Alliance Duluth, which is an organization who has put a new office here in Alcott Plaza, and we approve city staff to assist with relocation of the items if needed.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Counselor Pauster moves to approve. Is there support? Support by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to enter into agreement with the State of Minnesota 6th Judicial District at Memorandum of Understanding for the North St. Louis County Mental Health Court and the North St. Louis County Range Hybrid Treatment Court. This means our staff will be on the court bodies.
Very good.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson for approval and supported by Counselor Freely. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the resolution for change order number 3 for the Bailey's Lake Trail Improvement Project in the amount of $13,906.25.
Also move, Mayor.
Moved by Counselor Bearable. Is there support? Support by Counselor Barnzelli. Further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in, I'm sorry, Counselor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just do want to give another thank you to CH for realizing that what was missed and being willing to step up and help out with that as we move forward on this project.
Thank you, Counselor Johnson. Yes, the SCH has agreed to bear the burden and the costs associated with this additional change order. So any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the contract for professional services agreement for the tennis professional for 2021-2023. And I do have to note that he did request 2 changes. They are in your packet in that contract. The changes are he would like that contract to start May 1st because it's already April 13th. And it was originally April 1st. And he would like to reduce the rate. We set the rate at $40 for private tennis lessons. He is not charging $40. He never has charged $40. It's $30 for the private tennis lessons.
Okay, thank you, Britt.
Thank
So we do have that contract interpack with those 2 minor changes, and it was moved and supported at committee level to approve the contract as it was written at that point in time, but with the adopted changes, we can certainly take action on those recommended changes.
I'll move to adopt
Thank
that.
you. Counselor Paulson moves to approve the Tennis for All contract, supported by Counselor Freely. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
City Council reviewed the MEC Facility Manager job description and creation of the position. It was moved and supported to set a Personnel Committee of the Whole meeting and to invite the stakeholders of the MEC to attend to discuss and review the job description for the Facility Manager's position. This meeting will be held April 21st at 4 p.m.
Thank you. Counselor Freely,
For discussion?
looking for a motion to move. Well, we can have discussion before we take a motion, so Counselor Freely.
I guess I misunderstood. I didn't think that I don't know that the stakeholders do have a stake in determining what the job description should be. That's one of my concerns. I think it was a good idea to bring people together, to hear about the coordination of events and, conflicts that may have occurred in the past, those kinds of things, but I really don't know that it's their place to be reviewing a job description for a potential facilities manager. I would like to see that revised accordingly, to have a discussion with regard to the coordination of events at the miners, as opposed to their input on whether or not we need a facilities manager, because I don't know that's their place to make those recommendations, but that's just my thought.
Sure. And at the committee, the whole meeting, there was a motion and support to invite the stakeholders to have their input on the job description itself. So that was the motion and support on the floor. Move it to the council. Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I made the motion, and I think my intention was to bring those user groups together to have a discussion so we could, as a city, could better craft the job description, not giving the stakeholders the authority to draft the job description, but just for us to meet with them, have a discussion, and then we would draft the job description. So that's the clarification, and I will move ahead with that right now.
Okay, so Councilor Paulson is moving to approve from the committee of the whole meeting, a personnel committee of the whole, to be held on April 21st, 2021 at 4 p.m. and invite all stakeholders, which have already been done, to attend and discuss, to discuss and review the job description for the MEC facilities manager's position. Is there support? Support by Councilor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Paulson.
Thank you. I guess I had inquired yesterday about the stakeholder email and was told that they were still working on it. Did it already go out?
Has started to, yes. Yes.
Pardon?
Yes.
So you sent the email out to the stakeholders?
We have had both phone calls and emails, yes.
Okay, can I get CC'd on that like I had requested?
Yeah, you asked for the list of the stakeholders, and we were working on the list, yes.
But they've already been contacted? I can't hear you.
Sorry. Yes, we have been starting to contact them, see if there's any interest in coming to the meeting. But yes, we're working on the list. Because Brian has contacted a few, and I have contacted a few.
Okay, but there's a whole email list prior that I have in my email from 2019 and 2020.
If you want to send that to us, that'd be great. We did not do a large email blast. I've just been contacting those that I know were stakeholders.
Okay.
We haven't done a whole blast yet. So if you want to send me that list, we'll do a massive blast to everybody.
That's fine.
So it's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. No, I'm just teasing. Yes. Motion approves, motion passes. Next item.
Thank you. The council discussed the request to add 2 utility worker positions at the MEC. It was moved and supported to approve hiring the 2 utility workers in the Parks and Recreation Department for the MEC and advertise for the hiring.
Okay, thank you. Looking for council action?
Also move, Mayor.
Councilor Baraboo moves to approve the hiring of the 2 utility workers in the Park and Rec Department for the MEC and advertise for the hiring, and is supported by Councilor Freelieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
There was discussion regarding the request from AFSCME Review Committee for an AFSCME position request to review the Program Assistant IT Position 2 position at the Fire Hall. It was moved and supported to approve the recommendation by the AFSCME Review Committee to increase the pay for the Program Assistant IT Position 2 at the rate of 50 cents per hour.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Johnson. Is there support? Support by Councilor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Due to the retirement of a team leader position, it was moved and supported to approve Andres Kolstad as the new team leader as recommended by the AFSCME staff.
So moved.
Moved to support by Counselor Friedlieb. Is there support?
I'll support, Mayor.
And moved by Counselor Friedlieb, supported by Counselor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to deny the request that we received from St. Louis County to waive the blight and special assessments on tax forfeited properties and to review these types of requests on an individual basis by the purchaser if necessary.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Friedlieb. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Johnson.
I just want to, before we move on, I did there was in the minutes, Pam, it said I had left, and I did come back at 2:12:25. I just want to make sure that's in the minutes reflected accurately.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that, Counselor Johnson.
The minutes reflected I left at 11:30, and then the minutes need to reflect that I rejoined at 12:25.
And that's, the minute does reflect that?
Does not. It does not reflect that I returned, and I just
Okay.
want to make sure, and that's where the break is in on the page. That's why I brought it up here.
Okay, thank you. Make that adjustment to the minutes, Pam? Thank you. Okay. Britt?
The next item on the agenda was the purchase agreement for the property located at,
One, sorry.
Did we vote on that?
Did we vote on that, Pam? I guess,
We didn't, did we?
did we vote on item number
Um,
M, deny the request by the St. Louis County to waive the blight and assessments? Okay, there was a motion in support. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. And if I may, on this next item, Brett, I do have a copy of administrative memo from our city attorney, Brian Lindsay, regarding this item. When we looked at the discussion of the contingency offer on the real estate at 224 Chestnut Street, there's a clarification in the motion that we made at that meeting. And I would refer to our city attorney to there. We have two ways that we can go just to clarify and clean up the language of that motion and the intent of the motion. Brian?
Thank you, Mayor. And I did, just as a convenience to the council, I provided that memo so that we could kind of capture the background of it. And in light of the fact that we had made a contingent offer, the two options that the city has essentially are, the council can either approve that offer, which would allow us to complete the sale, or the city could exercise the contingency and withdraw the offer at this point.
So technically you want a motion, either one of those things, either to approve moving forward or to withdraw our offer.
Correct.
Accept or withdraw.
Correct. Those are the essential options that are available.
Thank you very much. So, thank you. Britt? So on item number N, it was moved and supported at the committee level to, I think the wording is to decline
the purchase.
the purchase. So a motion would have to be made, just to clarify, as recommended by our city attorney, to either approve or withdraw, accept or withdraw. So thank you. Councilor Friedlieb.
For point of conversation, I mean, and maybe this is a bit of a barb to me, but I mean, we do have an ordinance in place in town that requires residents for maintenance and preservation of a property, which means there's an expectation on the city's behalf for people to invest and reinvest and continue investing in their properties to keep them up to date, repaired, remodeled, whatever. I think the city then reciprocally has responsibilities to try and take care of and invest in the city itself for reparations and remodeling and repair and so on and so forth. And so we do have this initiative that's already begun with money being apportioned to businesses that are making improvements on Main Street. And we too, I think, have an obligation, to some degree at least, to make investments on Main Street as well, to remove blight and to take down buildings that are dilapidated and collapsing and potentially dangerous for that matter, with the roof caving in as it is. So I'm a little concerned with the fact that we have been in negotiations with the seller to the point of, moving forward with, discussing with the realtor, having a city official go and look over the property, making an offer to the seller, and now reneging on that. And not only reneging on the seller, but also on our investment to the city to try and remedy things that are in disrepair in this city. We have some obligation with that regard. Do I really want to own it? Not necessarily, but I'm just saying this for the point of fact that we are expecting that of our residents, and I think we should expect that of our city as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just a point of order for clarification purposes, Brian. The motion that was originally carried over from the committee of the whole meeting, do we vote on that, or can we not vote on it and just reform a new motion?
Mayor, at this point, I think we could reform a new motion.
Thank you very much. Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually made the backwards motion. We shouldn't have done it that way, but that being said, this property is close to going into tax forfeiture. If their property taxes are not paid within one more year of all the back taxes, it will go into tax forfeiture. So I cannot justify spending $15,000 on a building that basically does need to be demolished. According to John Sullivan, it's not habitable. And I don't see the justification on that. And then one more point of order that I'd like to ask our city attorney. When Councilor Johnson directed city staff to kind of go down this road, that was in a closed meeting, and we did not open it up and actually vote on that. So I understand where Councilor Friedlieb is coming, that we actually got that ball rolling, and it seems very unfair. But my question would be, there wasn't really a formal action of a vote that it was directed, but it was in a closed session during our confidential closed session. And then when we came back into open, we didn't vote on that.
I would ask Pam to review those minutes if she could, and get a comment from you, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. And Councilor, I think to address your question, that the procedure and the posture with which this issue came out and has kind of come to this point is the reason why there was a contingency built into the offer, and that it was always made clear that whatever the offer was, it would have to come back for a final approval by the city council. And so we built that contingency in just to address that fact, that there hadn't been a formal approval to spend the money yet, so we built a contingency in to protect the city and give the council the final say.
Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Does that clarify that for you, Councilor Paulson?
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Councilor Johnson.
I will move that the city move forward with purchasing the property located at 224 Chestnut Street in the amount not to exceed $15,000.
Councilor Johnson moves to approve the city purchase of the 224 Chestnut Street parcel for $15,000 not to exceed. Is there support?
I'll support, Mayor.
Support by Councilor Baraboo. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor.
Councilor Baraboo.
I have some discussion on this. Julianne, I do not disagree with you totally on this, but you got to understand how tax forfeiture works. Another full year on the tax forfeiture. After that, the individual owner has one more year besides. So you're talking 2 years down the road to see this piece of blighted stuff sit there. And I don't want to see that sit there. They have to pay the back taxes. We don't pay that. So I think you knew that, though. So they have to pay that either out of the money they get from us or however Brian puts in a legal agreement before we finish the sale, correct, Brian? they need to satisfy that to tax forfeiture.
That's correct. Ultimately, the way that it would work is the city would not have an obligation to show up at the closing table with the cash, and they would have an obligation to show up with a saleable title to transfer us title, and part of that would be clearing the tax lien.
Okay, thank you. So it's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor?
Counselor Freely?
I just want to check with Sherry, like, does the city have a land acquisition line item in their budget that can be tapped into for these kinds of purchases, or is this a manipulation of funds that's tricky for you to do?
Yes, there is a line item. It's called economic development. And there's another line item too called contingency fund. But we would most likely take this out of the economic development, which there's enough funds in there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Freely. Sherry? Counselor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I too appreciate that it's going to go tax forfeited unless somebody else wants to buy it. The people, general public now knows that they're willing to take 15,000. Someone could offer 15,500. And then we don't know what happens for the next year or 2 or 3 or 4. I guess this is one of those times I'd rather err on expediency than the unknown. But I do appreciate that it would be nice to get it for little to nothing. But that's why I made the motion, is to move forward.
Thank you, Counselor Johnson. I'd just like to make one comment, if I may. There's a vacant lot on each side of that building. The city owns both those lots. To have this one door and to have the entire lot, it has some more value than it would if we had those lots with, that aren't contiguous. So I'm supportive of this moving forward. Counselor Baraboo?
John, I need to ask you a question. I think the back taxes on that were about $2,000, wasn't it, somewhere in there? Because you'd looked that up. Or am I wrong on that?
John?
Thanks, Mayor. Counselor Baraboo, I think it was right around that number.
I don't know the exact, but I thought it was that.
I did report the number when I was here, and I believe it was right around $2,000, so that's fairly close. It's from 2018, if I recall. Yes.
Okay, thank you, John. So moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Beyondich?
Thank you. I have a hard time with this because we're still sitting on property in Midway with a building that has not come down. So I can't support this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it's been moved and supported. It takes a supermajority vote because it's to spend money. So it's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Pam, roll call?
Paulson?
No.
Beyondich?
No.
Johnson?
Yes.
Aaron's-Ellie?
No.
Huffy?
Yes.
Baraboo?
Yes.
Freely?
Yes.
Motion fails 4-3. Huh? Yep. Motion fails 4-3. Okay, thank you. Next item?
Item on the agenda was at the Committee of the Whole. We approved the extension of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act to May 4th, 2021.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson. Is there support? Support by Counselor Freely. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
At the Committee of a Whole, we approved acting as a fiscal agent for IRRB residential redevelopment grants for demolition grants. The first resolution in your packet is for 214 5th Street North.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Baraboo. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Second was the resolution for 805 Fifth Avenue South.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Bearable, is that correct? Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
The third was the resolution for 614 17th Street North.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson. Is there support? Support by Counselor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was noted that the city will be receiving an allocation of funding from the American Rescue Plan. It was moved and supported to allow staff to make recommendation for distribution of the American Rescue Plan funding that the city will be receiving.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson and supported by Counselor Friedlieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to table the information for the architectural design services agreement between the city and Wold Architects for the Virginia Public Safety Center and to schedule the presentation on the project. Mr. John McNamara will be at our committee of the whole meeting at 9 a.m. on April 20th.
Thank you. Need a motion? There was a motion to table.
It stays tabled until it's picked back up
Okay, it
again.
stayed tabled?
Stays
Not
tabled.
marvelous. Okay, consider that tabled then. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
Staff from that meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to item 10, which is commission liaison reports. Does any counselor have a commission liaison report they'd like to give this evening? Seeing none,
Mayor, I'm sorry, I was slow on the button.
well, you made her, under the wire. Counselor Bearable.
Yeah, I just want to inform everybody that I spent 2 hours this morning on the pre-construction information for the street projects this year. If anybody's never gone to one of those, boy, I'll tell you, there's a lot of information. It's 4 pages long, all outlined of what they need to do for these projects. Public Utilities was there, the contractor was there, everybody was there at this meeting that took place at the miners this morning. And I learned a heck of a lot being street and alley chair, 'cause that's one of the first ones I've gone to over all the years I've been on the street and alley as chair. So if you ever get a chance to go to one again, there will be one next year again, because we'll be extending the project. So I just wanted to bring that piece of advice.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Johnson. Counselor Johnson. Thank you, Counselor Bearable. We'll move to item 11, department head reports. Is there any department head that are in the audience today like give report? Britt?
I do have an item. The city council has authorized us to have a surplus sale. We have set the surplus sale for April 27th and the 28th from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Miners Memorial Building. What happens on those 2 days is that you can come look at the items that we have, make a bid. All bids have to be sealed. We will have information on the bid forms there for you to put your bid in. We will review all bids on April 29th and bring a recommendation to the council on May 4th.
Very good, thank you.
please watch
April
for the sale.
27th,
April
April 29th, and May 4th.
April 27th and April 28th, come down to the miners, take a look what we have. They have a whole lot of office supplies, office chairs, library cleaned themselves right out of a lot of furniture. There's a lot of stuff that'll be there.
Okay, thank you very much. Taxpayers' equipment returned, which is good. I hope it's usable for someone.
Looking for outdated toner cartridges, we have quite a few. So
Outdated toner
please come on
cartridge.
down.
All right, thank you. All right, any other department have reports? Sherry, I think you can send us a memo regarding the beginning of the budget process. Sherry?
Actually, I wanted to let everyone know the auditors are in-house, and it's moving along pretty good. So if you do have any questions, they're downstairs in the club room. And yes, we will be starting budget worksheets for, it's kind of hard to say, 2022. But I want you to know everything, there's a lot happening in the city of Virginia. In fact, the auditors said, I think their head is spinning. There's so many grants and projects, and it's an exciting time to be working here. It really is.
Okay, thank you, Sherry. So we've relegated our auditors to the lower level of in the barons of City Hall, huh? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move to item 12, council reports. Does any city councilor have anything they'd like to add or announce before we adjourn for this evening? Seeing none, thank you, everybody. It has been a long day. Thanks for everybody's hard work. We will adjourn to our next city council meeting, which is Tuesday, April 27th, 2021, 5:30 PM here at the city council chambers. Everybody stay safe. We stand adjourned.